Ni hao. How are you all? I hope you're doing well. One of the basic tenets of my class is always that I want to present you with any perspectives that I can. So I have to say in this regard, I'm probably a little bit biased, but I wanted to explain to you my experience in going to China. I was most fortunate to go on a 4-week journey across China and to Taiwan. You may or may not know that the mainland part of China is called the People's Republic and Republic of China, and the Taiwan island is called the Republic of China. And I'm not going to go into the history of all of that. Your current event article should. Most of the people in Taiwan are descendants of the Han Dynasty and trace their ancestral roots back to mainland China. When the Communist Party took over and ran the government out, they took refuge in Taiwan and took with them some of the most beautiful antiquities of the Han Dynasty and previously with them to make sure that they were there. On my application to go to China, one of the questions that I was asked was, what did I believe should happen between the People's Republic of China and the Republic of China? And my response at that point was both countries should be able to do exactly what they wanted to do. And in my experience in going there, I have to say that I find that they are both very, very opposite countries, politically and in terms of cultural values of government and free will. So I would say I'm a little bit biased, but anyway, I'm not going to say my opinion about putting them together or taking them apart. I'm going to let you delve into the article and see what you think. Okay? Here we go on some pictures that I took when I was in Taiwan. These are not to be a detailed description of the country, just what I saw in the week that I was there. So, first wanted to go over the two. On the left, you are finding Xi Jinping, who is the president of the People's Republic of China, and Tsai Ing-wen, who is the first female president of Taiwan, or the Republic of China. And that is where the similarities end. Xi Jinping, although he's called the president, is pretty much a dictator, not with a lot of, he says what happens, and the Congress, there is a Congress, but they pretty much vote and say exactly what he would like. In Taiwan, it is a democratic republic and is making great strides in human rights. So as soon as we got off the plane from Kunming, where we were told by our travel guide, we are so sorry that you have to go through customs to go to Taiwan, as we consider Taiwan one of our most important provinces. That was a little shocking to all of us, and when we landed, we immediately saw the differences. This is downtown Taipei. It is a very progressive town with very modern architecture. This is, I don't remember the Chinese name of it, but this is the Maritime Museum after we checked into our hotel. This is the first place we went. I'm going to quickly show you some pictures from there. It is from a trading magnate who's very interested in maritime trade, and this is the Maritime Trade Museum. Has beautiful examples of ships from China, the United States, and as far back as Egyptian culture. After we left there, we went and visited some of the many parks. This is a Peace Park in Taipei. Again, very beautiful, and I took this because it showcased the sort of tropical trees and landscape. And you see in the back Taipei 101, which is the tallest building in the world at one point. It has the fastest elevator to the top, and it's kind of scary up top, but I'll show you some pictures of that. This is the presidential palace. This is where the legislature meets. We were fortunate to have an appointment with the Prime Minister of Foreign Affairs, who talked to us about the importance of an alliance with the United States, as Taiwan is not recognized by the United Nations, and the United States has an enduring and lasting trade agreements with Taiwan. So here is the Prime Minister of Foreign Affairs. He spoke to us for about 2 hours, which was a very interesting experience. Night market, night market, night market. This is a staple of Taiwan and Taipei. This particular one is in Taipei. Mostly there are goods on the first floor, and then you go down. And this one, you go down this staircase, and there's places to eat and night market food. The sons of the host of our trip to Taiwan said that they don't even eat at their apartments. They always eat at the night market because there's such great food and it's so cheap. And boy, did we eat a lot of very interesting food and amazing food. So I'm going to just click through these pictures really quick. Here is I don't remember what kind of soup this was, but again, downstairs, and you just get a bowl of it. This is where you picked your fish, and then they cooked it right there. I don't remember what this is, but everything looked just amazingly, presentably bright and beautiful. And I tried things. I didn't ever ask what it was in English. I just ate it, and it was all amazing. There was a lot of people there. You can see the tables here, and you just go through and you buy from each vendor and then sit down. And sometimes they even bring it to you. It's just amazing array of food. Interesting to me, the difference in Taipei and China and how they deal with their indigenous populations. This museum was amazing because it illustrated the rich history of the people of Formosa that have been there longer than any other tribes, and they had a very detailed history. And when we were in mainland China, they've done a different approach, which is kind of like what we call the Disneyland approach, where they take indigenous people and it's in a village much like Disneyland, and they are allowed to do the dances and have a house that looks much like their indigenous culture, and then you move on to the next one. So I really like this museum. These are some beautiful coats that I saw there. Again, very great description of them, and it was just beautiful to go to this. This is the memorial for Chiang Kai-shek, and if you look at the history of Chiang Kai-shek was a warrior in China against the communists, and realizing that the communists were overrunning his government, moved his and many of his troops to Taiwan, created a capital in Taipei, and ruled the Republic of China for many years, for a short time under martial law, meaning he was the ultimate authority. Very revered in Taiwan. I can't even tell you how large this is. If you can see the small person at the bottom here, you're going to see just how big this palace is. Again, this is the changing of the guard. The day we were there, it was like 95 degrees. So after they did the changing of the guard, this man in front actually wiped down the soldier because he was so sweaty and couldn't wipe his own sweat. So again, the changing of the guard. This is Chiang Kai-shek's car that's inside. This is his desk, and he expected anyone who came to see him to take notes. So he built a desk that was on both sides with paper and goods so that they could actually do work. This is the Grand Hotel, the hotel that Chiang Kai-shek and Madam Chiang Kai-shek lived in. It's very ornate. There were 3 floors. I have my mug at school, but Madam Chiang Kai-shek, there's mugs that they sell with her face on it. That was kind of funny, so I bought one of those. On the other side of this, you can actually see the water on the island, and it is currently a working hotel. We didn't stay here. We stayed at another prominent hotel, but this was absolutely beautiful, and we had tea there. On our last day in Taiwan, there was a typhoon, and amazingly enough, everybody just says, "Oh, typhoon," and puts a little sign on the door that they'll be back the next day, and closes. Everybody goes home, and that's that. A little bit like now. So this is as the typhoon was starting in, but we were most fortunate that we were leaving that day on one of the amazing trains that Taiwan has. So you go in here and you go downstairs and you hop on a train. So we did that to go to Tainan. This is before we went to Tainan, sorry. This is the Harbor District, and there's also an amazing art district back here, so I wanted to show that a little bit. This is a harbor cruise that we went on. This is Taipei 101, which is 101 stories. It has businesses on every floor, and then it also has a platform that you go up really high up to the top, which we did. This is, I don't remember what it's called in Chinese or English. This is what holds the building so it doesn't fall over in case of an earthquake, and this is like where you would stand, so it's just huge in pushing the weight of the building aside. So this is the Confucius temple that we visited in Tainan. Some of the basics that have been there forever about Confucius. Some of the sayings. A dragon that I particularly liked. This scene, I wanted to just point out the amazing dragons and works that are on almost every temple that we went to. This is at Tainan. It's an old Dutch fort from the 1600s. It was where the Dutch commander would live, and dates back to the 1600s. So again, the same thing. Taiwan has a very long tradition of being taken over by other countries. The Dutch, the Chinese, or not, excuse me, the Dutch, the Japanese, and finally being becoming a true Chinese country. So that is a little bit about Taiwan. I think it's really important to do some compare and contrast, and I got to see that really up front when I visited Taiwan. So I hope you enjoyed this little bit of taste about Taiwan. Feel free to email me if you find any other questions you might have about Taiwan. Thanks.